Hey everyone, welcome to another How I Jam video. In this video I'd like to show you how I prepare my jam sessions and then play them using the MPC. I recently got the MPC 1000 here, but if you're using an MPC 500 like I did before, or actually any kind of MPC, it works exactly the same, so stick around and you can apply what you see in this video to any MPC that you have. As I explained in my How I Jam Part 2 video, I have my MIDI keyboard hooked up to the MPC's MIDI in port, so the MIDI data goes through the MPC and out again to my instruments, each of which listen to their own MIDI channel, so I can talk to them directly by sending data on that channel. My MPC is set up like this, that I have several tracks for each instrument prepared. For example, we're on track 5 now, which sends MIDI data on channel 7, which is the channel my DRM1 drum machine listens to. Track 6, 7 and 8 are the same, so they're all used for drum sequencing. So what I usually start with is a simple beat. Now since the MPC sends data on channel 7, which is the drum machine channel, I can use the pads to play the drum machine. So like this I can record my first drum track. Okay, very simple, just a loop with the snare and the bass drum. Now let us switch to channel 6, which is another drum machine track, and record some hi-hats with a note repeat feature. So as you can hear, now both tracks are playing at the same time. On one track just the snare drum and the kick drum, and on the other track just the hi-hats. Now if I switch to the track mute screen, we can see all of my tracks, which are now mapped to pads, so I can use the pads to mute and unmute the tracks. Here I have my drum machine 1 and 2 tracks, which we just recorded on, so if I play it, I can use the pads to mute, for example, just the hi-hats, and then the other track as well, and then unmute the hi-hats and unmute the rest. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, now let's go ahead and use the keyboard to record a little bit of bass. I switch back to the main view and then go to track 9, which I prepared to send MIDI on channel 2 to my Moog Slim Phatty bass synthesizer. So this one I could also play with the pads, but I want to play it on the keyboard, which is more natural for me. If you want to know how to set this up, I have another video in which I explain how to hook up the MIDI keyboard to the MPC and another synthesizer and play with all of them together. So when you did this, you can just use the keyboard, which sends MIDI data through the MPC to the synth to record a bass line. Let's record this. Okay, and then let's just quickly mute that track and go to track 10, which is the same as track 9, so again sending data on channel 2 to the Moog Slim Phatty. And let's just record another pattern. So if we switch to the track mute screen again, I can now use the 4 pads which are assigned to the 4 MIDI tracks I just recorded to mute and unmute those tracks and basically create a small jam session. Okay, you get the idea. Of course, now you can create even more tracks for more instruments and mute and unmute them to create more complex patterns and jam sessions. Of course, you can also combine this with the MPC's sample tracks to incorporate some samples into your music. You can also use this technique just for sample tracks, so you don't actually need external instruments. You can just assign samples to the MPC's pads and then just mute and unmute those tracks. So I hope this video was a good explanation on how I prepare my jams. Of course, when I play my jams, then I incorporate some live effects from the Chaos pads. I have different instruments which I can tweak in real time because all the data is just coming via MIDI, so the sounds are free to change during the jam session. So you can really create lots of evolving and different sounds in one session, even if you don't have so many MIDI sequences programmed into your MPC. And again, it doesn't matter which MPC you have. Everything I showed you is a basic MIDI capability of the MPCs, so it should work with any MPC and any operating system that you have. Thanks for watching, have fun making music, post your comments, like, share, subscribe, and also direct me to your videos because I like to see how other people jam as well.